if you're not conscious of your breathing and how you're breathing, how you're holding your breath, how you're not holding your breath, that how deeply you're breathing before listening to this episode, I hope that it raises your awareness and helps you focus on breath work and the power of breathing. Because today I'm talking to Elvira Wright about how you can activate, how we can all activate our own inner pharmacy. And she is a pharmacist by training, yet there's an inner pharmacy that we all have that can calm your nervous system, lower stress, and support your body's natural capacity to heal. So we're going to dive into how practices like breath work can actually rewire stress patterns and restore balance from the inside out without a pill, without a prescription that you've got to take to the drugstore to get filled, something that you can do on your own with yourself and with some training. This conversation, it's going to be practical. We're going to be focusing on drug-free ways to improve resilience, mental clarity, and overall well-being by working with your biology instead of fighting it. So Elvira, thank you for being here.
Thank you for this kind introduction. I'm super excited and happy to be here and share my knowledge with general public and some maybe professionals.
I want to let everybody know how we met, because this is one of those chance meetings that are unexpected, that happens when we're just going about our daily lives. I was at a conference in December, A4M conference, which is massive. I mean, 5,000 people I think were there this year,
Actually,
and
8,000. I heard 8,000.
8,000, even more. And so the randomness of meeting any one person, or the probability of bumping into any one person, is pretty low. But you and I met. You came by my booth, my NBI booth, and we were having a great conversation. And I learned what you did. Oh, you got the book. Yep, wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed it. Um, the but what really piqued my interest in talking to you and got me excited to have you on the Delivering Health podcast was that you are trained as a conventional pharmacist. You're trained also in functional medicine, and that what you've discovered in one of the most powerful ways to help people has nothing to do with drugs, has nothing to do with medical testing or those sorts of interventions. So talk us through, just share a little bit with people, your evolution as a practitioner, and how you came to this, what you're doing now.
Well, this is a really kind of long way where I started my pharmacy career. I trained back in Ukraine, and we studied herbal medicine for 3 years. When I came to America 26 years ago, it was elective and only one semester. And I said, okay, I need to do something. This is not the way I've been trained. And I joined A4M back in 2011, where I've got my fellowship. And from now on, I was really searching in the cause of different diseases. And when I came into the discovery of breath work, I started to explore a little bit more. And before I found my Buteyko method, that's what I would love to talk a little bit more about this. I practice as holotropic breath, somatic breath, pranayama, which is yogi breath. But to me, if you look at the pyramid, everything is start with the breath. Breath is the beginning. And then you can go with food, with the supplements, with water, with sleep, with detox, stress management, physical activities, everything is following. Because when you came into this world, what first coming? Your breath. What living last after you depart in a different realm? Your breath. This is the last things you do on this planet Earth. How long you can live without breath? 3 minutes maximum, maybe. Pearl divers can actually live without breath for 14 minutes. You can live without food around 40 days, without water maybe 7-10 days, without sleep only 7 days, without breath only 3 minutes. So this is the basis, and it's how I evolve. And I know exactly that breath is the basis of everything else. If you fix your breath, you fix everything else too. Everything will be working better. Your diet, your exercise, your sleeping, everything. But this
when
is
you
the
when you
base.
when you think about breath, it's something that I do unconsciously. Everybody's just doing it unconsciously, just like your heart beating. I don't have to think about my heart beating. Whereas food, I've got to think about it. I've got to think about feeding myself and where to get food. And sleep, I think about when to go to sleep. And sometimes I can't go to sleep that well. So I've got to think about how to do that. But I don't have to think about breathing. And it's not something that's taught, in school, is nothing that I was emphasized to me, focusing on breath, except for, maybe to calm myself down when I'm feeling stressed. But in terms of a day-to-day practice, you mentioned pranayama breathing. I've heard about it through yogic traditions. I've heard of the Buteyko method. But when you talk about breathing, how are people, you think, now, just in their day-to-day life, not breathing optimally? Or breathing, maybe, maybe you want to say wrong, or I would say wrong, or in a way that is not, that I don't know if it's hurting them or it's just not helping them.
This is an absolutely amazing question because we, like you said, we don't think about it. It's automatically happening for us. However, this is the only automatic type of function in our body we can control. And through this, we can control everything else. We always hear about take a deep breath in, saturate yourself with oxygen. The problem is we hyperventilate. And hyperventilation or overbreathing cause more than 100 different chronic diseases. How it's happened, if I can kind of maybe dive into this a little bit in the physiology.
Yes.
This Veriga-Bohr effect. Veriga is a Russian scientist. 20 years later, after this, Bohr, physicist and doctor, has been rediscovered this again. Discover. So when you get the air in, your oxygen caged together with hemoglobin, it's a part of erythrocytes, and started to go into the different organs, system, tissues. But unless you have enough CO2, carbon dioxide, that we accumulate during the exercises, breathing, daily breathing, if it's not enough concentration, the cage of hemoglobin will not release beautiful oxygen molecules. So in this case, with plenty oxygen in the blood, we have a lack of oxygen inside the cells. But where everything is happening, it's happening on the tissue level. This is how our mitochondria is working. Mitochondria is our powerhouse. So in this case, when it's not enough oxygen in our bodies, in our tissues, in our mitochondria, our cells go into the different modality of producing energy, or ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It becomes anaerobic, and anaerobic is very inefficient. So with oxygen in the tissue, produce 18 molecules, 36 molecules, and without, it's only 2, so 18 times less. So the inefficiency, you can see it. And this is maybe one of the reasons when you go to sleep, you did excellent food, you eat excellent food, you do a lot of exercises at the gym, you really satisfy yourself, you stress manage, you go to bed, and then you wake up in the morning, 7-8 hours, you still feel tired. Why? Because you sleep with the mouth open. And that you blow off all your carbon dioxide. So my suggestion, tip number 2, tape your mouth.
I love mouth
Before you go.
taping. I do that every night as well, but because
Yeah.
I snore, actually, and
Does
that
it
seems
help?
to help.
Does it help with the
Does
snoring?
this seem to help? Yeah. But
Yeah.
I want to just make sure everybody understands really some of the incredible things you just said, because they may not quite understand, if they're not trained in physiology or medicine, how the body's working when you breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is coming from metabolic respiration, metabolic activities in our cells that are created by the mitochondria that are creating the energy of our cells, ATP. And so when you don't have enough oxygen, when oxygen's not getting to your cells, you go into an anaerobic environment. The cellular energy is a chemical called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And when oxygen is present, you can create 18 molecules of AT, or 36. I'm sorry, you said
36
18, but
molecules.
then
Yeah,
correct me.
36.
36 molecules of ATP. But you said when it's anaerobic, when there's not oxygen there, you can only create 2. But it's not just oxygen that is the issue, because that's where I was believing if I just, take deep breaths, I'm saturating my tissues with oxygen. And so I'm getting better respiration. I'm getting better mitochondrial activity. I'm getting better energy. And you're saying, no, that's actually not the case. We've got to make sure that there's enough carbon dioxide there. Otherwise, the oxygen won't be released from the hemoglobin, which is the molecule inside of our red blood cells that carry the oxygen around. It releases oxygen for uptake into the tissues, and then it binds the carbon dioxide to deliver the carbon dioxide to the lungs so we can breathe out the carbon dioxide, as you said, through our mouth, which is where, if we're breathing, mouth breathers at night, you're breathing out too much carbon dioxide. And so, in effect, your cells can't use the oxygen that you're breathing in as efficiently. And that's a reason why people wake up feeling tired. Did I summarize that correctly?
Perfect. Cannot be better. And
Okay.
this is maybe one of the reason I also said tip number two, never breathe through your mouth, through the nose only. Your mouth is only for food. Some guy said, how about kisses? Okay, you can kiss through the mouth, but you still breathe through the nose.
What about through exercise? I mean, I know I went to an exercise class today, and my heart rate got up so high I couldn't. I felt like I couldn't breathe through my nose. I was breathing through my mouth and, through my nose as well. I was using both. But are you saying not even during exercise, don't breathe at all through your mouth?
Are you trying to put some records like you an elite athlete and you would like to put like be on Olympic, or you just do this for yourself, just to be healthy? What's your primary reason
To
to?
be healthy.
All right, so in this case, just slow down until you can actually breathe through your nose. And in this case, you'll be more efficient because when you do nose only, you will never produce lactic acid. You will become like unstoppable machine. Because when you bring your pure oxygens into the cells and you go for the aerobic metabolism versus anaerobic, what we just discussed, you only produce CO2, carbon dioxide, during the metabolism, and the water, not lactic acid. If you started to breathe through the mouth, you blow off CO2, you started to produce lactic acid, you will be sore next morning. You will also produce lactic acid, which is encapsulate cancer cells. Lactic acid is a very good shell to protect cancer cells from attacking by immune system. That's another reason it's good to breathe very light
Okay, but
nose.
I want to be very clear, because based on what you're saying, somebody could conclude that you're suggesting that if somebody exercises, that it either increases it breathes through their mouth while they're exercising, it either increases their risk for cancer, or potentially, if they have cancer, can help, um, you know, could hurt them.
Potentially,
Is that what you're actually insinuating?
potentially yes. Yeah, lactic acid has been.
So hold on a sec, because I always like to go back to research and the
Mhm.
evidence on this. And this is a big claim. Is there research actually showing that people who exercise and breathe through their mouth while they're exercising have a higher risk of cancer?
It's not this specific correlation. It's about the lactic acid has been shown as a protective shell for a lot of
No, but I
cancers.
understand. But then it would have to be a study looking at,
Hmm.
people who exercise, that have a higher that are breathing through their mouth while they exercise, that then they test the lactic acid in their bodies, which can be tested, and
Hmm.
then follow them and see if they have a higher risk for cancer because of that, see if there's a correlation there. And I can't imagine that that study has been done.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
I just want to be clear, because that's a very,
common.
people might hear that and really say, oh my God, I'm scared now, because maybe they have a family history of cancer, or maybe they have a personal history of cancer. And I want to be very clear that that's speculative, that there is not research or clinical trials actually showing that
Hmm.
and that connection to increased risk of cancer at all.
No correlate connection, but it's potential
Okay.
because of mouth breathing. It's
Okay.
potential. Hmm. Yeah, I don't
So,
want to scare anyone, but I also wanted people to be aware how devastating to be breathing through the mouth. Even during the exercise, you can decrease the intensity of your exercise in
well,
order to prevent mouth breathing.
and I think that's a great point. I mean, the second edition of my book is coming out soon, for second edition of Fracture Proof Your Bones. And in there, I've significantly expanded and updated the research. And in the exercise section, I talk about speed is not your friend, that the slower you move, the better your form, the safer it is. But what I didn't know at the time, and that connection, I wish I did, I hadn't talked to you yet when I finished the manuscript, is that connection between moving slower, breathing through your nose, and actually probably getting more effective and efficient exercise.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You become an unstoppable machine, unstoppable, because you really supply unlimited amount of CO2 and oxygen by breathing properly.
All right, I'm gonna try that next time. I exercise probably 5 days a week. I'm gonna start that tomorrow, and
And start to slow. In order to prevent this, you can actually get some plastic bottle and cut something to close your mouth. So in this case, you definitely will not have chance to breathe through your mouth to prevent that.
or I could just tape my mouth during exercise.
You can do that too, but if you don't want other people to see it,
That's true.
if you do
That's
it,
true. That's
yeah, if
true.
you go to the local
So,
gym.
so in the beginning, you mentioned several different breathing techniques. Can you walk me through, the differences between those and, why you settled on the Buteyko method?
Absolutely. So I started myself with somatic breathing. What is somatic? So you breathe mostly through the nose, hyperventilation, and you hold on inhalation, and that's actually a little bit help to offset the hyperventilation, just a little bit. That's the one of the somatic breathing. What is good? It's good for trauma release, for emotional release, and you continue the circulation with a different pattern. Sometimes you actually can exhale on you can hold on the exhalation, but still it's a always, always, always hyperventilation, always with a different rhythm. Holotropic breath. This is my husband has been certified as a holotropic breath instructor. This is special music that really influence, alternate your mind and consciousness. You completely shut down, you breathe only through the mouth. That's the main difference. You only breathe through the mouth, which is fry your lungs. Nose has 7 different functions. It's humidified, warm up, sterilize your or clean your air when it's coming, control how much air can come in the lungs. So it's just absolutely amazing functionality for the nose. But when you breathe through the mouth, everything goes out of the door. And when you inhale so much oxygen in your lungs, no CO2, you blow off CO2, your prefrontal cortex shut down. Your brain is gone.
Just let
Completely
people know the
hypoxia.
prefrontal cortex is involved in
Yeah, it's involved
reasoning,
in.
planning.
Mhm. So in this case, you can like vegetables to some degree, but your body started to release all these traumas that has been set up in a different part of the body. And that's the part of the healing effect. That's why holotropic is very popular, but it's also very devastating. We have some clients who actually ended up in psychiatric clinic. We could not bring them back. Not from my husband, but from someone else who was practicing holotropic breath instructor. The another one, pranayama, it's also different type of techniques, box breathing. It's all benefits could be done while you in the session. Buteyko breath is not sessions. Buteyko breath is lifestyle. You consciously decrease your breathing depthness and you completely relax. 2 main contributing factor to be Buteyko method living style. Complete relaxation and very low inhalation and exhalation, barely breathing. So on my when I was doing some first workshop, I asked everyone to bring the fingers under your nose and start to breathe. What is your normal breathing? Or a feather, or a piece of paper, like a small piece of paper. See how much you're breathing. People can feel and notice like air coming in and out, in and out. Now reduce 10%, 20, 30. Just imagine you have a bear coming toward to you and you're supposed to play dead. This is how light your breathing should be. You should feel a slight hunger for air, but you need to train yourself to be in that stage. However, again, everything should be to the comfort. You never should be stressed out. As soon as you start to be stressed out while you train to do the Buteyko breath, you should get out, just do your merry way until you're ready to do it again. But eventually, you started to do it a daily basis, and you will see your asthma, allergy, autoimmune disease, hypertension, gastrointestinal issues, anxiety, sleep problem. 100 diseases will go away.
That's the
100
Buteyko method.
Buteyko breath. So Buteyko breath is a healing, and it has been backed up by different clinical studies. And I post this in my Telegram Inner Pharmacy. So if somebody wants to see it, it's all there. Everything else, never done any kind of clinical study on holotropic, somatic, box breathing. Army use it. It helps to calm down. Yes, for in, for hold, for out, for hold. It's good, but it's not sustainable on daily life. Buteyko, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a method of breathing. And that's the reason I choose that.
And if people want to look it up, it's spelled Buteyko, correct?
Buteyko.
AY.
And another, yeah, YKO. And another things, CO2, carbon dioxide. Yeah, carbon dioxide participated in 50 different reactions. Oxygen, 2. Do you want to know which 2?
Yes.
It's energy into your mitochondria. So it's a best biohacking mechanism, deliver energy or oxygen to your mitochondria. You don't need any devices. You just need to breathe more light. And this is your best biohacking mechanism. And apoptosis. Apoptosis, it's when everything was not served your body anymore, all these dead cells, some cancer cells, for example, or something that's harmful to your body will be eaten. And for this one, you need oxygen. So 2 different reactions versus 50. So every single mechanism will be enhanced by carbon dioxide. Every single ferments, production of different proteins, enzymes. You will help insulin resistance. You help with gut lining. You will help with metabolic processes, hyperglycemia, hypertension, yes. And anything with a hyper or hypo, because carbon dioxide is balancing agent. It's balancing. It's not too much or not too more. It's balance every single receptors in the body and metabolic processes.
So when people hear about, I've heard about how great oxygen is for us. I think everybody knows that. And there are oxygen bars that I've seen sprout up different places. People are actually paying just to go and breathe oxygen.
I did.
What about carbon dioxide bars? I've never seen anybody. If carbon dioxide is so great, should it be a certain percentage of carbon dioxide that people are actually breathing in at I don't know, how would that work? Would that even be helpful?
Honestly, I bought the equipment and A4M that delivers straight carbon dioxide. It's a little bit uncomfortable. I would love to say you really start a little bit low. You breathe pure carbon dioxide. I bought this because we going to Mountain Kailash, and it's a 5,600 feet elevation, so we need to train ourselves for low oxygen. So why it's
I think you mean meters.
Meters? Yes, sorry, meters. I said
5,600 is not so high.
Yeah, no, 5,600. Yeah.
Yeah, that's high. 5,600 meters is over 16,000 meters.
Close to
16,000 feet. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's right. I'm always confused between meters and feet because I've been trained in both systems and I still didn't catch. Yes, but I would love to see it. Bars with carbon dioxide that people can come who is lazy and they can start to breathe. But it's still, this is only one part, deliver carbon dioxide to your body. The other part, you have to be relaxed. So how many times you just feel like, okay, your shoulders go up, okay, and I stop myself, all right, I need to go down. How much your facial muscles become tense if you read some emails or you talk to someone. The most important also tummy. I will probably cut something on the kitchen and my tummy, oh, I need to relax. I catch myself constantly that this has become a tight knot, and this is where all our tensions is sitting there. And I'm pretty sure everybody else, if they see some stress, they constantly tied up. We expect saber-toothed tiger running all the time, which is, we don't have it, but our society is demanding so much from us. For us, it's to relax. It's very, very difficult. And this is the reason why I'm teaching not just about CO2 delivery, which will be automatically done if you sit in specific positions. Your diaphragm, you're part of the under rib muscle that's responsible for inhalation. Our tummy doesn't responsible for inhalation, only diaphragm. So it's not the chest and tummy breath, like it's diaphragm and chest breath, breathing. So when you relax that, when you sit straight, and you put eyes a little bit above horizon, it's automatically reduce the breathing. And this is enough. This is enough. You will sit 5 minutes like this, your blood pressure dropped, sometimes significantly.
Wow.
Just with full relaxation, but I constantly check, okay, my tummy relax, my shoulder relax, my face relax, and enjoy that slight hunger for air.
When we met at A4M, you talked about learning how to breathe while I'm speaking. You noticed how I was speaking, and you said, I'm paraphrasing, but basically you're like, I'm not you, you're talking to me, that I was not breathing optimally. I was not breathing in a way that was promoting my health. And I thought that was really intriguing while I was talking.
So, two exercises. Yeah. First of all, as I mentioned it, mouth is only for food, only for food. So, even when we talking, we have to talk on exhalation. So, you breathe in and you exhale and start to talk. Anaerobic metabolism with insufficient oxygen, breathe in. Cells switch to anaerobic glycolysis. Breathe in and exhale, which is less efficient and leads to lactic acid accumulation. So you've got the point that you only speak during exhalation. And you don't have to stretch for too long. Even if you can say only 2 words in the beginning, it's okay. So you have to speak with your normal, comfortable rate. Inhale, speak on exhalation. Inhale, speak on exhalation. Another exercise, you just can go and count. Inhale and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You train yourself, but you have to read out loud and you count out loud. Otherwise, it's not working. Just in your mind, it's not working. You have to do out loud.
When somebody's feeling fatigued during the day, maybe it's, mid-afternoon, they're just feeling tired. With the Buteyko method and the breathing that you talk about, help give them a boost of energy instead of reaching for a cup of coffee.
Yes. Again, we're talking about the mitochondria energy. Here you go. Accumulate more CO2, carbon dioxide. Relax. A little bit up above the horizon. Look. 5, 10 minutes. You can sit this. Or same thing, but you can faster accumulate your CO2 by exhale. Pinch your mouth. Oh, your nose. Pinch your nose.
Exhale, pinch your nose, and
then wait until your first hunger for air comes. Release. The key is your breathing pattern should stay the same. No changes. No open the mouth to catch the breath. No faster inhalation, exhalation. You pinch and you feel slight desire to inhale. Open up. Catch the breath 2, 3 times. Again, exhale only on exhalation. Pinch. This is what Wim Hof is doing. He's doing rapid inhalation, hyperventilation, and he only hold breath on exhalation, which is kind of good.
now that's the Wim Hof method, which is
Wim Hof
different
method.
than the Buteyko method.
Yeah, Wim Hof is also hyperventilation, but at least you've got that good idea about hold without pinching. hold on exhalation.
So when somebody hyperventilates, I think we didn't talk about this and define it. When they're hyperventilating, are they accumulating carbon dioxide, or
They
are
blow off.
they're
Blow.
blowing off carbon dioxide, and so they're not getting enough? In fact, that's why one of the or a great remedy for hyperventilation when somebody starts to feel lightheaded is to take a paper bag, and it's commonly recommended, and put it over their mouth and nose, and they start breathing in and out of the paper bag, because they're going to be breathing the carbon dioxide that they just expired, they just breathed out. They'll be breathing the carbon dioxide back in. And when you increase your carbon dioxide concentration in your blood, it's actually a signal for the heart to slow down, sort of
Mm-hmm.
slows the heart down. It's a chemical signal. And
Yeah,
so,
carbon. Sorry, go ahead.
when you're hyperventilating, which is what I think you're saying, most people are in this sort of this hyperventilated state. They're not lightheaded necessarily, but they don't have enough carbon dioxide.
That's true. The alveolar partial pressure in the lungs should be, well, then they say 40, but Buteyko said 46. We barely have maybe, I don't know, 37, 35.
Of carbon dioxide.
An alveolar pressure here that will be showing through your control pulse. When I measure it, when I work with clients, I see where they are, the status of their health. This is so that's beauty. Buteyko method gives me even the tool how I can evaluate where the health status here now and how they progress during the exercise. All I need just a stopwatch. That's it. Control pulse we measured by see how much patients can hold or client can hold pinching nose after exhalation, and when they're coming back, the pattern of the breathing should be the same. So
and,
that.
and what you're saying, because it's helpful for all these different conditions, this is something that if somebody starts practicing this method and continues with it, that they could actually be tracking their, for example, blood pressure, and seeing
Mhm.
over time as their blood pressure going down, and you can see the real health benefits through things like that, without a medication.
Absolutely, yeah.
In fact, maybe if somebody's on a medication and they start doing this, it would allow them to decrease how much medication they're taking, or maybe under the guidance of their physician to discontinue it altogether.
Eventually, yes. Asthma, allergy, and hypertension are the most three type of disease has been evaluated by Buteyko, and the success rate around 90 to 96% without drugs.
So it's interesting because asthma and allergy, the mechanisms of action is, they tend to be immune mediated, and
Mm-hmm.
whereas blood pressure is not necessarily. It's most of them cases, as far as I know, are not. So it's interesting that physiologically, to me, it can actually help both your nervous system, your circulatory system, and your immune system, help regulate all three of those, and probably more, cardiovascular system. I mean, um, gastrointestinal system. Sounds like it's just universal, the different help. Your central nervous system. I'm sure your brain can benefit. Um,
You have more focus, more clarity. Alzheimer's disease will, I cannot say it's improved, but at least stop to develop because your brain started to have the energy, the oxygen in the brain. And you started to sleep better too. And sleep is the second importance after breathing. So if you don't sleep well, and a lot of people don't, if you have sleep apnea, if you have snoring, that will affect how you process everyday activities. Will you be able to have your growth hormone restoration during the night, detoxification of the body, and just a host all other effects that sleep helps us to achieve through the night.
Amazing. All with proper breathing. How can people learn more about you and the Buteyko method?
They can come to Telegram channel. It's a free educational channel called Inner Pharmacy. It's spelled together, Inner Pharmacy. Or follow me on Instagram. It's the real Elvira Wright. So I'm happy to help and address if they have issues. It's a
Fantastic.
free.
And those links will be in the show notes as well. Thank you so much.
Thank
I learned a lot. I know
you.
tomorrow I'm going to exercise differently, and I'm going to be
Yeah,
breathing differently during the day. So thank you for teaching me. I really appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.